Welcome to my brush hogging series for 2023. I'm going to be working with the brush hog here for the next couple weeks, and I'm going to be trying to capture parts of it with the camera. Brush hogging can be repetitive and not terribly exciting sometimes, but there's something special hidden in this work, a Zen state, an engagement of the senses. The sights, sounds, and smells are very relaxing, and I dearly enjoy the few weeks out of the year I get to spend here. I hope I can share just a small part of that with all of you. These videos will be an attempt to make brush hogging as interesting as I can and share my experience with you. I hope the overall atmosphere shows through and you get a feeling of what it's actually like out here. Some notes on technique. You'll see me working backwards, actually most of the time. This is how I typically run. It gives me a better cut and helps keep my front grill clean. I also try to get the lowest cut that I possibly can from the brush hog. This is definitely harder on the equipment, but I think the final results will speak for themselves. Well, it is Friday, August 18th, 2023. Getting ready to start brush hogging for the year. I got about a 25-minute commute over here with the tractor to get to where I'm going to be working. It is a beautiful day out here, mid-70s. Well, it's brush hogging time again. Every year, just around the third week of August, I'll come over here and start my brush hogging for the year over here in the Jake's Run Wilderness area. We got about 800 acres over here total. Now, not all that is field, but a lot of it is. We're working over here in field 0 today. Now, I do a lot of work going backwards, particularly trimming the edges of these fields. Most people that we get to do brush hogging for just knock out the center, and then they end up leaving tall weeds around the perimeter. Now, given that it does take a heck of a lot of extra time to trim the perimeter, but boy does it look nice. So I always take the extra time to do it. Even though it adds literally hours. I wouldn't want to do this with anything other than a hydrostatic transmission. Now go forward and backward, you have to do. Just wear you out is operating clutch or even a power remote. Other considerations that you might want to think about if you're doing a similar type of job and working backwards is making sure you're comfortable. Now, I spend a lot of time turned all the way around, working backwards. So I have to make sure I'm comfortable. Otherwise, my neck will be so damn sore the next day that you can't even hardly turn your head. So the idea is to get turned around to the side in your seat the best you can. Now this seat does not swivel. Some of the John Deere seats will swivel. This one does not. This is a 2012 John Deere 4720 that I'm running. It's got about 3,000 hours on it. I bought it new back in the day. But what you need to consider, what I do, is you get you a pair of these padded leather gloves, and you'll put one right here wedged between your knee and the dash. Also put another one over here. So I can actually press myself into those and push myself into the back of the seat and kind of just lock my body in here. And I can stay in that position for hours and not have a lot of negative consequences the next day.
It's got this side of the road done.
Let's look at the job that we're doing here. This is a traveling backwards cut, and this is a traveling forwards cut. You can see this clumps up a lot worse, where this just distributes the grass along the whole area. Boy, it's a hot one out here today. I think it's getting close to 90. I'm here. I've got all this perimeter done. And a good bit more to go out through there. Yeah, there's no way you could do this with a standard transmission. You're going forward and backwards hundreds, if not thousands of times. This is just the way I've always done it. I've got the extra time I need to do the job and do the job right. So that's the way I do it. We can get a better cut on those eyeballs right there. Yeah, it's a little better. By the time this project's totally done, I will have spent probably close to 160 hours just running the brush hog over here. Came through here with the excavator last summer and cleared a lot of the bigger stuff on the perimeter here. But I really need to come through here again because it's already grown up. A lot of people might argue that this is a waste of time, and it might be. I mean, battling Mother Nature in general is a waste of time because you're going to lose, and you're going to lose every single time. So you either have to get enjoyment out of doing it,
or really want to enjoy it after the fact, which I do both. I do enjoy doing this for the most part. Sometimes when you're out here working and it's in the 90s and the tractor starts to get hot, the AC doesn't want to work right, you're just sweating your ass off in here, you just kind of wanting it to be over with. But for the most part, it's pretty enjoyable. I mean, you've got instant gratification when you do this. Really, with any type of mowing, even if you're mowing your yard, it's just one of those things where you're getting instant gratification. You can immediately see the results. I'm currently running a Bush Hog BH316, which I've been, pretty happy with. Before that, I was running a John Deere MX6. Now, that was one dandy of a brush hog, but I ended up just about wearing that thing out in every way you could possibly imagine. That was what I initially used to tame this property for the first time. So it was cutting acres upon acres of huge autumn olives. And eventually it just wore out. But I've been running this one since, I think 2018. And it does good. A brush hog has to cut close for me to use it. I've also used one of the new Everything Attachments brush hogs. They're Wicked brush hogs. I don't know why they have to put the prefix Wicked on everything. But that's a nice brush hog too. It's a good 200 pounds lighter than this. So that's pretty neat. That comes in handy if you're working on hills, which after I get this property done over here, I'll be going back to my farm, which is a lot closer to my house, and brush hogging that. Now, I don't recommend running your brush hog on the ground, but I go pretty close to that. I'll set it on the ground and then just lighten it up ever so slightly. That's typically how I run. And if I start having grass discharge problems, then I'll raise it up a little bit more. Now that tends to put a lot of wear on your brush hog and your PTO system. It's also hard on your tractor. Now, keeping your radiator blowed out and your tractor running cool is very important. And this has been a groundbreaking change right here to carry around one of these battery-powered blowers. Quickly clean your radiator. I used to have to carry around a small compressed air tank, and that was just a pain in the ass. Now this meadow hasn't always looked like this. I mowed this for the first time in 2016, and it was ridiculously overgrown. I will cut in some videos back in that year, maybe some pictures. You can easily see how overgrown it was. The autumn olive growth was insane, particularly right here where we're looking in this area here. Some of these autumn olives were easily 20 feet tall. It is Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. I'm getting ready to start day number 5. Back here on field 0 is what I'm calling it. All that's completed. And I think the last little stretch is going to be done today. There's the well. And this is what I've been dealing with, is these huge groves of autumn olives. Those aren't as tall as the ones I've previously encountered. Those are probably 8 to 10 feet. I bet you I had some 14-footers back through there. And you just spend hours taking down that grove right there. And then of course you got to trim down the other side here, like I've trimmed this side. But what a beautiful day. A little bit warm, it's close to 80. But
let's just pause right there for a second. It was indeed a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day that later that evening, some guy decides to bring an electric-powered Prius all the way to the end of this field and proceed to move into a swampy area. Now, he said his GPS had brought him in, but at what point are you like, I think I made a wrong turn? I happened to be working in an adjacent meadow at the time when suddenly this stranger shows up.
well, doing my good deed for the day. I have picked up a city slicker over here at Jake's Run. Hung up. GPS brought him in here. Now I gotta go unhung him. You just never know what's gonna happen.
So we're probably a good half a mile away from where he went in the drink. So upon arrival, I immediately realized that there's no way I can hook onto this car. I mean, that is an electric-powered Prius. So the only thing that I can think of is to take a nylon tow strap and run it on the inside of his windshield and hope the pillars on each side hold up. So 2 hours passes, and I finally got him out of there.
Still a few automotive clusters here and there. They continue to grow year after year. I need to get in there and get those ripped out by the roots, but it gets a little better each year. Now, something else to consider, if you have the ability to do this, is to leave patches of these native plants and grasses. If there's no autumn olives or nothing, no woody stuff growing in there, I'll leave random patches of, this is goldenrod here. It's a good place for deer and bunny rabbits to hide. It's also important for insects. I've noticed a particularly high amount of honeybees in here this year. We need to protect our honeybees. You can see just on this plant right here alone, there are 3 honeybees. And they're going right to town, pollinating those. And if I cut them all down, then they'll likely die. And we already have honeybee problems in this country and maybe the entire world, so I'm going to be leaving that. And I'm also going to be picking out some other patches over in here somewhere to leave. Not sure where that's going to be yet. But I'll leave a couple patches in this field, and then in some of the neighboring fields I'll also leave some uncut areas. It's just something to think about. Now, these uncut areas are also good for deer habitation and rabbits, all insects. There's a nice butterfly. He's just kind of going around pollinating everything. I also leave wetland grasses. Any of these broad-leafed or broad-bladed grasses that live near wetlands or these small little ponds are also left undisturbed. You can see where I've mowed my path. Everything up above here will get cut. Everything below will stay. It's important to try to preserve these little wetland areas. Just about ready to get this one wrapped up. Small sections here to finish. Alright, well, this field's totally done. Now we just need a little bit of light rain to get the grass coming again. Time to move on to the next one.